Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a fantasy adventure film, The Brothers Grimm. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. The movie begins in the year 1796. A mother attends to her sickly daughter, while her eldest son, William Grimm, adds wood to the fireplace. William then comforts his mother, stating that Jacob Grimm, his younger brother, will arrive soon with money for a doctor. Not soon after, Jacob comes. Jacob excitedly shows his older brother the beans he has on his hands, and shares that a stranger paid him magic beans for the cow, stating that it will help cure their sick sister. But William couldn't believe it. 15 years later, in French-occupied Germany, the Grimm brothers arrive in the town of Karlstadt. They immediately go to the stables and instruct a stable boy to deliver a letter to the mayor. Later, in the mayor's office, the miller describes a witch apparition in detail. Jacob records the event, as William questions the mayor. According to the mayor, it has been 100 years since the old miller's wife was burnt at the stake for witchcraft. A document from the mayor's desk is taken by William to estimate the job's cost. The mayor then invites the brothers to assist. Jacob says that burning a witch at the stake destroys her soul, and exorcising a witch requires a special procedure. To put out the fire, they need an arrow of pure tears, kid tears. Despite the high cost, the mayor depends on the Grimm brothers to save his village. Jacob draws a pentagram on the ground and prepares the crossbow. Then without warning, an eerie woman's shriek resounds, startling everyone, including the animals present in the mill. Due to the strong winds that followed after the dreadful shriek, the brothers and the miller turned around, then the mill doors closed. The brothers try to get the door open as debris falls, fearing that they might go down with the mill. Unbeknownst to them, the witch is already inside, floating by the ceiling. They only notice the witch when it shrieks again. William tosses the miller to the pig pen, then pulls out a sword, and declares that they are afraid of no witch. The witch waves her hand in retaliation, and William gets pushed back hard by an unseen force. While the witch slowly floats towards them, Jacob fires his crossbow, but misses. The witch waves her hand a second time, and it blows Jacob back hard like his older brother earlier. William pulls out a silver cross to slow the approach, but the cross catches fire instead, rendering it useless. Jacob points the crossbow at the incoming witch, but it doesn't shoot for some reason. William, on the other hand, warns his younger brother not to gaze at the witch, and draws a revolver. But they stare into the witch's eyes, and are forced to aim their guns at each other. Fortunately, Jacob breaks the enchantment, and kills the witch. Once the witch has been pierced, she screeches, and becomes a snake-like creature. The brothers then slice up the snakes with a blade, put them in a sack, and tell the miller to bury them far from rivers. As promised, the miller gives William a bag of money, and hurries out of the old mill, happy that the witch is dead. If truth be told, everything was actually a ploy to swindle the townsfolk. One colleague dressed up and pretended to be the witch, while the other one worked the ropes from behind the scene, to make the witch appear floating. Together they make the perfect play in fooling the miller, and the rest of the town into thinking that they have vanquished the evil witch from the town forever. Many residents rejoice at the purported defeat of the evil bedlam. While drunk, Jacob keeps drinking, as William dances with two sexy ladies. When two French troops enter the pub, the party is over. Jacob attempts to insult the French troops while inebriated. Before the troops can act, William distracts them by having the band play the French national hymn. William clutches Jacob's ear after the deflection. Then he pulls him back to the woman he danced with before. Clearly uninterested, Jacob escorted the ladies upstairs to himself, but unknown to them, they are being monitored. Later the same evening, Cavaldi, a torturer by profession who works for the French, captures the brothers, and brings them to the French general the next day. They are about to be sentenced to death for their criminal activities, brought to light by their captured colleagues. But the general needs their expertise now, because several children have been disappearing from the town of Marbaden, and the general wants them to find out the culprit. In exchange, he might pardon their crimes. With death as the only other option, the brothers agree to work on the case. Soon, a party arrives in the town of Marbaden. Due to the occupation and the recent disappearance of the children, the village is rather unwelcoming and slightly hostile to strangers. Town locals start aiming their firearms at the Grimm brothers and the others. William introduces himself, but the locals remain vigilant until one of the children recognizes their famous name, the Brothers Grimm. Afterward, at the chapel, the townsfolk gather, and the brothers listen to the local statements. Jacob takes notes, while William guesses the equipment that might have been used for the abduction. The town locals explain that they knew the forest was enchanted. However, It had never bothered them before, until the most recent occupation. Every local then starts blaming the French's occupation. William then diffuses the situation by giving out a charismatic assurance. After asking who could show them around the forest, no soul dares to volunteer. Instead, they recommend the town outcast, Angelica. Not wasting any time, the Grimm brothers and others head to Angelica's residence and ask her if she can guide them through the forest. Angelica is skinning a hare, while William tries to negotiate with her. When Angelica throws the knife aside, Cavaldy's instinct kicks in, and he throws a knife hitting an unskinned hare in the wall. Things are happening so fast that it shocks William, causing him to scream like a little girl. In the end, Angelica joins the search party, since 2 of the abducted girls are her sisters. The following day, the party heads out to the forest. As they go deeper, they leave their horses behind, and continue on foot, until they encounter a ruin with a tall tower, but with no sign of an entrance, except the window. Angelica informs the curious Jacob that the tower was cut down in the past. Then comes a flashback when Angelica was still a little girl. Her father informs her that hundreds of years ago, a queen, known for her beauty, used to live in the tower. Despite her sexy looks, she was actually rotten to the core. Not only was she vain, but she was selfish as well. During her wedding day with the king, a plague spread. The first victim was the king, and after her husband's death, she built a tall tower in the middle of the kingdom, thinking that the plague wouldn't reach her when the plague was airborne. Right then, Cavaldy sees a golden ring and tries to get it. While reaching the tomb, a crow suddenly flies out, surprising the Italian torturer and prompting him to shoot at the bird. He doesn't hit the bird and starts to curse, but he is stopped when bird's smelly poop starts falling to his face and chest. When Cavaldy looks up, he sees a murder of crows sitting on a dead tree branch. After a while, the bird flies towards the tower and starts circling it. Angelica then advises everyone to leave. She then grabs an ugly toad, asking it to show the path out of the forest, and starts to lick the smelly liquid out of it. The others are skeptical of her ways of fortune telling. But eventually, they make it to their Ferrari horses and make them back to town. Later that night, a girl cries for aid. It's a cry for help, but also a whisper. Curious, the little girl takes a gas bulb and heads towards the town stables. In the end, the terrible horse swallows the hapless girl completely. The Grimm brothers are awakened by the Ferrari horse's neighing and walk outside to investigate. A horse galloping into a cursed wilderness finds the girl within its jaws. William thinks the suspects can mechanize the horse, and so he denies it's paranormal. Angelica chases the cursed horse in her nightgown, followed by the Grimms and the French henchmen. Angelica dismounts her Ferrari horse due to the height limit caused by tree vines. William yells out that tripwires were deployed and that there are suspicious individuals in the woods. Angelica remains calm as a wolf appears from the shadows, seeking vengeance for her father's murder. She draws her bow and shoots at the wolf as it jumps. She knocks her bow for a second shot, but the big wolf leaps at her, knocking her off balance. Meanwhile, William continues to examine the mechanism underlying the moving trees. In the process of helping a French soldier to the hole in the ground, a tree root enters his juicy mouth, killing him. Angelica keeps shooting the wolf, but runs out of arrows soon. On seeing the wolf's familiar eyes, she walks away, surprised that the creature didn't hurt her. Cavalry reports to the general that the missing girls are just a bait, and that German resistance troops are hiding in the forest. The Grimm brothers go along with Cavalry's report, and convince the French general to give them another chance to expose the forest of Marbaden, so as to prevent it from happening all over the country. The general agrees, but threatens the brothers that his army will destroy and kill everyone involved, including the town and its occupants, if they ever escape or fail. After a misunderstanding, when Angelica consoles William, Jacob goes first to the forest. He sets up a catapult with the 2 colleagues' help, thinking that he would reach the windows and into the tower by catapulting himself. William arrives just in time to witness the catapult launch his brother into the air, but the body hits the side of the tower and falls from a height. William then runs over to the body in a panic, only to find that it's actually a mannequin, and they are just testing it out. The brothers then have an argument. Jacob voices his frustration that he's been studying folklore his whole life, and now that they encounter a real one, so he wants to see it through. As the older brother, William compromises and helps Jacob. Back in Marbaden, a little girl hears a bird screaming her name before diving into the well. She pulls the crow from the well, assuming it is dead, but it quickly flaps its wings, splattering muck in her face. The winch then moves forward, as if delivering something upward. Everyone in town hears her scream, including Cavaldy and Angelica. The little girl then washes off the sludge, but she has no eyes, nose, or mouth anymore. Her face fades due to the muck contact. She screams for rescue, but nothing comes out. Later, Angelica follows the little girl. She pleads for her and passes her over to Cavaldi. He attempts to kill the bipedal slob, but he rises up and rushes towards the little girl. Angelica uses a scythe to slash it in two before it can enter the door. The mud golem captures the little girl from Cavaldi and places her within its body before morphing into a gingerbread man. It then dashes into the well. The brothers find an alternative way of getting up the tower using a pulley. After climbing up the tower, he notices 12 crypts evenly spaced around the tower. Afterward, he goes inside the tower through the window and begins exploring. In the meantime, William discovers it in the nearby pond. He tries to retrieve the little girl's unconscious body. He then hears a growl and decides to hide when he sees a wolf transform into a human. Inside the tower, Jacob sees the remains of the queen come to life when a crow drops a pill into her mouth. He then accidentally stumbles on a sizable enchanted mirror, which shows the queen seducing him. However, the trance breaks when William throws a rock up the tower, cracking the mirror. Jacob uses the queen's long white hair like a rope and jumps out of the tower, just in time to save his brother from the werewolf. Soon after, they make it back to town, with the little girl still unconscious. Jacob figures out the queen's rebirth ritual by the use of 12 children. At the same time, the French army arrives and arrests the two brothers. The general dispatches his army, spreading rumors and showing the Grimm brothers their cut-off heads. The general then orders his army to burn the forest to end it all. During the night, soldiers line up with torches, while others bind the Grimm brothers to a wooden ladder and light them on fire. Soldiers with torches close in on the general's instructions. Cavaldi apologizes and steps out of the path, while the town's residents' cries for help remain unanswered. The general orders his men to fire guns into the forest. Luckily, Angelica discovers the boys, tears the rope that binds them, and flees to the wilderness. They are separated by flaming wood. Suddenly, the werewolf lunges at Angelica. It's a humanoid, which turns out to be Angelica's father, who is now commanded by the queen, but hesitated to hurt Angelica previously. William fends off the werewolf, as Jacob tackles Angelica. Before Jacob can follow, she falls into the frozen pond. The wolf then flees. The queen detects the fire and uses a spell to blow the fire out. The wind is so strong that it causes disarray among the troops. Having witnessed it for themselves, the troops disregard the general's order. Back in the forest, the werewolf lays Angelica's body in the crypt as the 12th young lady to complete the enchantment for Queen's rebirth. The werewolf is then flown to the tower by the crows. The brothers witness everything and then figure out how to open the crypt and bring Angelica out. But they are cut short when the general arrives. The general orders Cavaldi to shoot the brothers. But the Italian hesitates, so the general shoots him instead. Right then, a creeping vine distracts the general, and Jacob runs for it. The general and his valet go after the brothers. Jacob manages to kill the general's valet when the axe boomerangs and hits the valet in the back. While William eventually kills the French general by stabbing him with a flagpole. After killing the general, William pushes his victim to an old rock formation, causing it to fall and catapult Jacob inside the tower. From there, Jacob attempts to kill the queen using a sword, but the reborn queen is too powerful, defying gravity with a wave of her hand. Meanwhile, Cavaldi regains consciousness. It appears that the armor he's wearing saved him from the bullet. William climbs up and tries to do the same, but ends up in the same situation as his brother. Using her powers, the queen makes the brothers try and stab each other. William then sacrifices himself by releasing his hand and getting stabbed. Jacob breaks the large mirror before the queen can use William as a new henchman. Right then, the werewolf brings his memories back, grabs a large mirror chunk, and throws himself out of the tower. Still under the control of the queen, William goes after the werewolf. But it's too late. The werewolf fully smashes the mirror into pieces, causing the queen to disintegrate into ashes. The movie ends with Cavaldi helping Jacob out of the rubble after the tower breaks down. He then leads Jacob to William's unconscious body and informs Jacob that the spell can only be broken with a kiss of true love. Cavaldi leads Jacob to Angelica. Jacob kisses the Fräulein, and it works. Angelica regains consciousness, along with the other kids that went missing. Jacob then checks his brother, only to find him still unconscious, or so he thought. However, William whispered to have the lady present kiss him, as Jacob was about to tongue massage his brother. Quick to catch up, Jacob informs Angelica to kiss William, and she is surprised when William kisses back. Later, they go back to the village. The village rejoices, and celebrates the return of the missing kids, and they all live happily ever after, or so they thought. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.